Well, it looks like MomTok did survive season 1, but will MomTok survive this?
I, at this point, would associate MomTok with a cockroach in a nuclear war. I think that MomTok will always survive.
Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows. Bros and shows. Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Bros and Shows. I'm your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Elder Goots. Welcome back, Elder Goots.
Wow, look at you just cherry picking that one from last year. Where'd that come from?
Sometimes I remember things.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes. Look, and this is the type of show where we get all of our questions answered about the Mormon Church, and
kind of
our haunted house
raises more.
Okay,
here's the thing: every single time there seems to be some kind of discrepancy, it's always like, they're probably fine. They might be a little not okay with it, but it should be fine. They always have a rationalization to make whatever they're doing fine with the church.
I think we've moved past a lot of it. Like, we've kind of addressed the drinking thing in the first season. Then we went into ketamine, and people still have a lot of questions about that, myself included, but they've addressed it. So, we can move on. The bigger question is walking into a haunted house. I'm not really sure what the stance is for the Mormon Church on haunted houses. What? That's where I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
Ketamine, what do you mean? They're satanic.
Fine. I guess.
Yeah,
sure.
K-holes are totally fine. K-holes, cool.
Never thought I'd find the two of us. Never thought I'd find the two of us hanging out doing drugs together. Like, yeah, what is going on?
Line. What a line! Thanks, God. What?
Oh, I don't know. Man.
It's very
Thank
confusing.
God for bringing us back together and getting us high.
the one thing that we can agree on, not everyone can agree on.
Thank God Zach chopped off his hair.
I have a lot to say about Zach, and yes, he doesn't look like a dollar store Targaryen anymore, but this show fucking rocks. Second, Hulu, I don't understand the business model. They're so dumb for doing this as a binge drop instead of a weekly edit.
Yeah, we talked about this when we were covering Villa as well. It's just insane to me that they're doing this. I just don't really understand it. And while I'm still, sort of, I enjoy both shows, but I still enjoy just the setup of Villa better. People don't talk about Villa. Villa came out less than 3 weeks ago, I think. It's gone, done, forgotten. Nobody's saying a word about it. They had a whole reunion. Nobody's talking about it anymore. They drop all the episodes of MomTok. I don't think they're going to have a reunion. There's still some reports here and there. I really don't think they're going to do it, though. And here we are. We're talking about it. Everybody's talking about it. I told you yesterday when I came over to record whatever we were recording yesterday, people are going to stop talking about this in 3 weeks. They're going to move on to Love Island. Love Island drops in the beginning of June. See you later, MomTok. If they had this week to week, you could compete with the other programs. You can compete with the other shows. And instead they're like, let's just get this out. We have it all right. Let's just drop it.
Yeah, I don't understand it. There's no time for discourse. There's no time to build up cliffhangers for the next week or like what's going to happen next month. It just, as a business model, makes no sense to me, because a big part of why Bravo shows get legs is because we talk about them for a week until the next episode drops. So it drums up free press. You get us idiots on the content side of things talking about it. You get Page 6 talking about it, so on and so forth. It just does not make a whole lot of sense to me. And selfishly for us, because it's easier to cover, but it just doesn't make sense.
There's a huge component of it too that works specifically for reality shows. Now, I feel a little bit differently when it comes to the scripted television side of things, but when it comes to reality shows, most of what you get and most of where your watchers are going to come from are from social media at this point. You're going to get people in the discourse online chatting. The problem is a lot of people just binge the shit out of this. This dropped when? Last Thursday, Friday?
Week, yeah.
So most of the weekend was spent with people watching
the whole
show. So a lot of people finished it by Monday morning. They're talking about it online. They're talking about episode 8, episode 9. Some people just started watching this week. They see that. They don't want to be spoiled, so they're not engaging with that post. So that means it's not drumming up more interest and getting more traction. So it's just the business model doesn't make any sense. And we talked about it last year when Villa was announced, and then MomTok popped up, that Bravo had apparently lost a few producers and they were poached by Hulu, and we're like, all right, this is kind of good. You kind of learned how the reality TV world works. This is not how it works. It's just not. And again, if anybody's going to disagree with it, anybody that's listening now, just check back with me in 3 weeks and I'll tell you what Twitter looks like, because I guarantee you not one thing, unless it's current events for Mom Talk, nobody's going to be talking about this show.
So you get
It's
3
just
weeks
bizarre.
out of the year, 3 weeks
Yep.
out of each year to talk about this show, and then it's gone. And then you forget until they run the trailer for next season. You're like, oh yeah, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. It's not, I can't wait for it. It's like, holy
And
shit,
it
that is
sucks
coming
because
back.
it's good. That's the worst
great.
part, is like, we are not, by the way, we're not going to rag on this show. This is usually a silly fun time show, unless, you know, a guy pops up like Zach that Steele just can't stand and he just has to rant. Otherwise, this is silly fun. I'm not taking these people seriously. They don't really exist in the real world. So why would I take them seriously? But it's just doing it a disservice. Like, the network is doing its shows a disservice. This could be
Agreed.
so much bigger than it is if they just followed a simple formula, and they couldn't do it. Even 2 a week would be better. Just drop 2. Drop one on
3
like
a week.
Sunday night and Thursday night, like big primetime watching shows, especially away from football season. People will tune in on Sunday night when all the other good shows are popping off. Drop another one on Thursday so they have it for the weekend. Boom, done, good. Just don't get
I
it.
agree with you. I agree. It's just irritating. But let's jump into this episode, because I don't want it to take away from this show. I love this show so much, and this furthers the point that when you have a cast that's all friends with each other or in the same friend group, you get much better content out of them. This is the perfect example. But we start out and we get to see everybody again. I have to remember everybody's names, which took me a couple scenes, but we got there eventually. And we're at the Cowboy Pillows event. As you guys know, they make all of their money from brand deals. I'm assuming this is one of the brands working with them.
Mm-hmm.
They give us a little rundown of how the past year has gone. We're getting other mom talks pop up, you know, the Florida mom talk, and then you got other states, other groups are doing the mom talk thing. So
Florida Mom Talk, instead of doing ketamine, they just do meth.
Yeah.
I couldn't help myself.
It's well played. But yeah, I mean, they made a huge stir. Obviously, they were massive before season 1, but season 1 kind of launched them into another stratosphere, it looks like. And the brand deals are all up. All the dads are in their stay-at-home dad era. You know, they did ruffle the church's feathers a little bit, but that's the goal of Mom Talk, is to reshape what the Mormon religion looks like as far as how they treat women, get rid of the patriarchy, all of those good things. So
here's the thing about any church, by the way. They will always let people who have a lot of money slide. So I'm sure there's some money just going back to the church, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh, yeah, we're not so sure. Not that the Mormon church really like communicates that well to the
nor do they
media.
need the money.
They don't need the money either. But they're still looking at this like, yeah, you know, I don't know. Oh, that's a big fat check. All right, I'll take it. Come on through.
You have exorcised your demons. Come on in. But Whitney arrives, and as we know, she is on the outs with pretty much every single person in the group, and it's awkward as fuck. She's pregnant. She's 2 weeks away from the baby, and she's coming off of her villain role. And she doesn't like the villain role that she played, which is interesting because she's the one that played it. But now she's trying to, I don't know if it's a rebranding. I don't know if she's just tired of getting shit on. Again, she started getting shit on by the internet because she made a TikTok dance while her baby was in the NICU with her baby in the frame. So
it doesn't
really blame the group.
You can't really blame the group. You know, the reasons why the group doesn't like her are completely valid, because they feel like she burned them. She, you know, as soon as the swinging scandal went down, she left them high and dry. She acted like she was better than everybody. She thought that she was the face of Mom Talk. All of those reasons are the reason that you're the villain. You doing the baby in the NICU thing, that just makes you a bad person. But I don't think it really makes you the villain. And you leaned heavily into the role. So I agree with you. I don't know why you're, you know, I don't think this is going to last that long, but I don't know why you're starting off episode 1 like, I don't want to be the villain. Maybe it's because she's pregnant.
I don't want to do
one of
it
those
anymore.
situations. Like, can't do the stress of being a villain, guys. Give me a couple of weeks and I'll get back to it.
Well, not to mention, she left Mom Talk. She chose to leave. She wasn't kicked out of Mom Talk. She said, I'm out. And now she comes to this event. It's the first event. Obviously, it's because they're filming. But the whole group is a little bit tepid, if you will. They're timid to let her back in. And the funniest is that she said some shit when she left, like, good luck without me.
Yeah.
Brand deals are up. They didn't need you. So that's the best part. I think
all they needed was a TV show to reach everybody else.
But I think that's her biggest shortcoming, is that she thought she was bigger than Mom Talk. She thought that, like, you could tell by her attitude last year, she was going to do whatever she wanted and everyone fell in line usually. So she wasn't worried about backlash. We saw this in Summer House with Jesse Solomon, totally different circumstances, but he got called out for being a fuckboy finally. He's probably done it his entire life. Whitney's probably operated this way her whole life. Now you're on TV, you're in the spotlight. There's other women on the show that are trying to vie for the #1 spot. So different things occur. I think she was taken by surprise. I don't think she expected the backlash. I don't think she expected the mutiny, the MomTok mutiny that got her as the villain.
I think that when she left, she probably anticipated at least a few of them defecting,
Jerry
coming
Maguire.
her way.
Who's coming with me?
Who's coming with me? Show me the money, baby. But it didn't work. Nobody followed her. Nobody is willing to do that. And if we know one thing about MomTok, they've been through a lot. They have been through hell. They're going to stick together. They're going to stick together. They're going to get to the other side. And Whitney, I'm sorry, we're not going with you.
Nope. We're staying with Jay Moore. Isn't that who it is?
Yeah.
But anyway, none of the ladies are buying it. And she's like, why did all the sticks up their butts? Whatever. But Miranda arrives. Miranda was part of one of the swinging couples that we hadn't met. She's an OG from TikTok, helped kick this thing off. Important note, she was also Taylor's best friend, Taylor Frankie Paul, aka TFP. I'm going to call her TFP more than anything else because it's easier to write down.
You can just call her Taylor. There's no other Taylors here. It is like enticing to want to go full, but I'm going to call her Taylor. The Miranda thing. The Miranda thing's interesting because it kind of brought me back to last season when we were talking about the swinging scandal. We said, what's going to happen if this show goes well? Will the swingers who have defected from the group come back? Will they try to show their face? Of course they're going to do it. So as soon as she showed her face, I'm like, there you go. And I don't really blame her too, because it could be one of those situations where like, if the show doesn't do well in the first season, are you really going to come back and face the music and out yourself for being part of the swinging scandal, have to face all the questions that are going to be associated with it? And then the show tanks. And then you're like, well, what the fuck did I do that for? The show did well last year. So now she's showing back up. She's like, it's worth it. Let me just try to do this, guys.
From the other cast standpoint, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, this is only going to benefit everybody. And you can tell that that's why the group is, some of them are quote unquote hesitant, but I think they're all prepared and like fine with it because it's more money for them.
The only person, and I think this is kind of funny, it's a weird show because I don't really like any of them. I just don't like any of them except for one person.
I do, and then they do some shit, and I'm like, oh, you're an asshole too.
The only person that I think I genuinely like is Michaela. She doesn't speak up enough, but her confessionals seem to be more on point. Oh, you don't like her?
No. I have no issue with Michaela. And like last year, she was kind of null and void. This season, she's dropping truth bombs. She's not putting up with shit.
She found her sea legs. So she's the only one who I feel like sea legs.
I know it sounds like seal legs. It's like they don't have Lieutenant
Dan. They don't have legs. They got flippers. She found her seal flippers, and now she's actually fighting back a little bit. But her confessionals just seem the most logical, and I feel like she's coming from a place of normalcy, somewhat. Obviously she's had anything but a normal life, but everybody else, as soon as they start talking, I'm like, I don't really like you. I love the drama. I love the petty arguments they get in.
I like how messy they are.
They get incredibly messy. I will say, and nothing against their religion, but I wish they all drank. I really do. I wish they had those pop-off fights that we get to see in the middle of the summer, like any other show in Bravo. Well, but, I'll take the ketamine, I guess.
Someone tweeted out, like, it's hard to believe there's this much drama with a group that does not drink. Like, if there was alcohol involved, it may be too much. It might be too full throttle.
I just kind of want to see it. And I might be wrong, and I might regret that. But I would like to see it in an alternate universe. Just like, what does this look like if they're all drunk? Like, give me the party at Miranda's at the end of the episode. Give me that happy hour, and they're all drunk. And I just want to see what it looks like. And I might be terribly wrong. And I'll come back from that universe and be like, nope, just stick with the ketamine. Yep, I was wrong.
Well, it's like that kid in college, like your freshman year, that never partied in high school, and now he parties for the first time, and then he's blacked out. That's what I'm afraid of. It's like, oh shit, we went too far. We've gone too far. Go back to ketamine.
I also kind of want it. I don't know.
It could be interesting. But we get back to Miranda, and she's divorced now, and she thinks the kids are better off with divorce. And why come back to MomTok? Well, she's maintaining that the primary reason for leaving MomTok was to focus on her marriage. Not so much the swinging part. The swinging part was just more of a an irritation is what she's trying to make it seem like, which is
Yeah.
not true at all. But that's the story that she's going with. And then she drops a bomb in there. The only thing we did was spin the bottle in some smooching.
You fucking 12?
Come
What
on.
is this?
Well, hold on. I mean, they're Mormon.
Yeah, that's fair.
Known
Yeah.
for soaking, things of that nature. So it wouldn't be wild if it was
funny-
pretty PG, but
How funny would it be though if Miranda was telling the truth? If
If
this
they
whole
just-
thing was just
was
they were just kissing.
Just kissing.
Just spin in a bottle and kiss it innocently. And like the big issue was that she kissed Taylor and she kind of liked it. She's like, I don't know if I could be faithful to my husband anymore. And
I
then they
kissed
had
a
to
girl and I
move
liked
away.
it.
Yeah. And then they had
see,
to put this
that's
whole thing out there and run away. That would be fucking hilarious.
That's a
If
Lifetime movie.
If none of them actually hooked up and that's actually all that happened, and Taylor realized, because Taylor's a lot smarter than she leads on, if Taylor realized, wow, this could blow us into a completely different level and we can get so much more fame if we throw this out there because everybody's going to have their eyes glued to Mormons in a swinging scandal that are on TikTok and they look like us. Wow, that's going to be crazy. What if Miranda's telling the truth? I'm going to hold on to that for as long as humanly possible.
I don't think she is at all.
No,
And,
probably not.
That's what Michaela says too. She trusts Taylor Frankie Paul because one, she's protective of her. They've gotten to be good friends, and two, she doesn't trust Miranda. So
Yeah.
TFP joins as everyone's kind of questioning Miranda and her role and everything, because now to me is like, well, this is strange because the stories don't align. You're telling me you never touched a wiener? She's like, there was no
Mhm.
PP touches, not one PP touch. So that's what she's going with. So this is obviously going to, I would imagine, take shape throughout the season. But
Yeah.
we did find out that Miranda and TFP did kiss. So confirmation there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we start talking about Taylor and the Dakota shit. And I forgot all about old Dakota, that
Old
big,
Dak. Old
old
Dak Prescott.
Dak, that big pile of shit. And it turns out that, shocker, everyone brace yourselves. He did actually cheat with that girl that he said he just kissed. For
It
2
was
years, he's
all-
lied about this thing.
The whole fucking last season was about it. This one, obviously we're going a little deeper on it, so I'm fine with it. But when it popped up in this conversation, I'm like, we're still doing this, really?
Well,
I get
it's
it. Like,
more so
stay with
like,
them, leave them. I don't give a fuck what you do, but I am not spending a whole other season talking about him potentially hooking up with some girl in the
Well,
beginning
we've-
stages of you guys dating. Like, I just don't want to do it again.
Well, have you watched episode 2 or 3 yet?
No.
Well, to put you at ease, we handled this one pretty quickly.
Good.
Yeah,
Thank
this
you.
one is
I
this one's
appreciate
handled pretty
that.
fast. You're welcome.
I've
I
always
won't
appreciated
spoil
that
it.
about you. Yeah.
Won't spoil it, but
Oh.
it does get wrapped up well, or at least it progresses in a direction that you will like.
Okay.
How about
Good.
that? But then we get to check in with Jen Affleck and Zach. No relation to Ben, okay? That's
None.
important to say. And I don't know if you're at that episode yet either, but that's an important one to say.
No, they
This is
said
why.
that in the off season.
No,
They-
I
they
know.
had
It
confirmation
comes
of
up
that, yeah.
again, though. It comes up
Good.
again. But she's saying it's been months of hell since Vegas and the whole Chippendale scandal. As we all remember, she went to the strip show and Zach lost his mind, texted her horrible things like, I don't love you anymore. We're getting divorced. I'm leaving you. You're a bad mom. Like pretty much
Mhm.
anything bad you can say to your wife and partner. Zach said in a text message while he was gambling, by the way.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So just to paint the picture of Zach.
This also
And-
it gave us a good timeline too, because
I like
Villa
that-
was over the summer in Italy,
Yeah.
so we know that they went over there, and we knew that Jen was doing her going away party. She was going to move to Arizona with Zach. Maybe she wasn't going to be on the show. Will MomTok survive? We're not sure. Find out. First episode. Well, yeah, he's a piece of shit. I left him over there in Arizona. I came back. I
separated.
had to be with them. I know.
Yeah, they're currently separated. And Zach arrives. And in the kitchen, I don't know if you caught this. I've never been so excited in my life. Did you see what Jen Affleck made?
No.
It was a muscle milk coffee.
Look
I've
at
been
that.
drinking them for years, and finally somebody else jumps on board. Now, by the way, it's going to take off. People are like, have you heard of this? And I'm going to be like, I started that shit, motherfucker. I've been drinking that for 7 years. But
Steals a closet in Mormon. It's actually a
yeah,
Mormon drink.
That's-
It's like
That's where I
dirty
learned it.
soda.
yeah, Joseph Smith taught me. But as you said, they were committed to moving to Arizona for med school. She decided to move back to Utah. She needed some space from Zach, and Zach comes over with his bag. He looks like a hurt puppy dog as she answers the
Mhm.
door. Now, I was surprised And again, the more you watch this season, the more surprised you're going to be too. And I give everybody multiple chances, probably too many chances. And I'm very skeptical. I'm not like, oh, he's good. But he comes into this thing, takes full accountability, not a but, not any kind of sidestep. He says, I messed up. I mistreated you. I never should have said anything like that. And, Jen's like, obviously not buying into it all the way. She's taking it with a grain of salt. She's like, well, the whole world was against us and we have a whole lot of work to do. He has a whole lot of work to do. He's in therapy. But this was the line that I'm like, okay, because he wants to let her live the way that she wants to live so that she can be happy. Now, actions.
I'm glad you got this.
Actions speak louder than words. I'm not saying that he's a different person. I'm saying if this is step one, it's not a bad step.
It's not a bad step. This is the point of the whole show. For me, this is the point of the whole show. Strong, powerful, rich women have douchebag doctors quitting their jobs and hoping and praying that they'll take them back. That is a world that I love. I think
especially in
incredible.
The Mormon church. That's fucking awesome.
It's unbelievable, the role reversal, and I'm fucking here for it. I couldn't stop laughing during this conversation, though. I could not. I had a choice between my husband and MomTok, and guess what? I chose MomTok. She said MomTok 4 times during this conversation, then said, I know, but like, they're separated, working on their marriage, and the first priority you would think is, you need to treat me good. Don't they have kids? Wasn't she pregnant last year or no? No,
they have kids.
They do have kids.
Yep.
You would think that maybe the kids would be mentioned in the conversation. Nope, not really. MomTok 3 times, 4 times.
Because
you got to make good with all the girls in MomTok. Like,
MomTok means millions.
You might really, yes, it does. One of those M's means millions. You might be onto something here, giving him a chance, because
just give him a chance.
When she breaks out after what happened, all the girls feel a certain type of way. Would you be willing to sit down with some of the girls and have a conversation? We're still talking about their marriage and their separation. If Zach hadn't changed, there's no way in hell that he wouldn't react to that. And
Agreed.
He didn't. He did not take the bait. He didn't react to that at all. Last year, if we saw that, he'd be like, fucking no. Are you kidding me? I'm
absolutely not.
Those idiots
I'm
talking.
Women?
I'm trying to figure out our marriage. I'm not talking to your weird friends. No,
you just say like, I'm a man. I'm not. You talk to the ladies. I don't have to talk to them. Like,
so yeah, maybe you're on to something.
I just, I'm open to the possibility because he had a lot of things. That's a big step. Like I said, no more Dollar Store Targaryen.
Yeah.
But he had a lot of things to make up for. And I didn't think that he'd be able to hit them all in this speech. And he honestly did. He even says, actions speak louder than words. I'm here. I left med school. I still feel the same way about MomTok, but up till now, it's been all about me. And now I'm choosing you. Do you want to go back to med school? Well, I have a year, but I want to focus on us right now. I'm like, okay. He takes full accountability of all of this stuff. And that's where she brings up talking to the rest of the MomTokers. Yep. And he's like, this is the one strike against him in this scene. So I did reach out, and you hear a voicemail and it's like, hey, sorry about the text. They weren't really supposed to be seen by anybody else. It's like,
yeah.
All right, don't leave that part out. Leave that part out. And then he doubles down and says to Jen in the scene, he's like, they weren't really supposed to see it. It's like, that's irrelevant, guy. They saw it. They done seen it. So shut up with that part.
They're like a singular organism, though. You got to understand, if you send anything to your wife, the rest of them are going to say it.
Yep. And, Jen says she needs some time to think about it, to ponder for it. And we're going to keep the Arizona house for now. But if you're, and this is where I was like, oh, well, he did that already. Because she's like, if you're going to live here, what are you going to do to change? I was like, we covered that, Jen. Yep. We covered all of those. That. He talked about it for a while. That's what he's been saying. Have you been listening? But it's a chance.
It's a chance. I like the little giggle that they gave each other at the end, where she's like, well, you have been a dick to me. And then they both laugh about it. I'm like, all right, there's hope. Right.
Yeah,
we got hope here.
That's all you need. Hope and a little bit of faith.
Yep.
Because it's Mormons.
Yeah.
Religion. Faith.
Nice.
Thanks. TFP and Mayci, they're hanging out, and then we get a little Dakota update, and their son Ever was born. Interesting name.
Yep. Short for Everett?
Didn't get confirmation on that. I think it's just Ever.
It's definitely not.
I think it's just Ever, yeah. But Dakota and her were great. They were living in this like baby bubble and they were happy with each other. It seemed like things were going well. And then she learned about his cheating. And Mayci decided to call the other woman. And Taylor Frankie Paul is going to sit down with Jenna and have a conversation with her, which is awesome, by the way. And this is actually what I thought was in episode 2. So as you can see, we're starting to move things forward as far as this goes. Yep. And then I will tell you, this thing escalates like chef's kiss, the way that it goes from this to the next episode. You'll see. But Jenna arrives, and one of the more awkward scenes I've seen in reality TV, which is saying a whole lot. And I liked her disposition. She's like, I just want you to feel better about this. Like, if I was in your shoes, I would feel terrible. How much of this is her wanting to be a good person, and how much of this is she's in the spotlight in the public eye now and she wants to clear her name? That's up for you to decide. I don't know.
I'm unclear on their timeline now. And I'm not even talking about specifically when this happened, when they hooked up or anything, because we've heard about that a million times. But we were talking about this all of last year, and then they went into the baby bubble. So then they were good for a while. So then it resurfaced at some point, and then I guess she honed in on exactly who it was, which, I'm not even going to dig that deep. I know how that one works. I guess this just all started escalating around the time of filming. So obviously it makes sense. I'm not trying to break the fourth wall here, but it is odd that we went through all of that last year. And now it's like, let's talk to this girl. Why did it take so long?
I don't care. I don't care because we get to watch it. I don't care.
I think I'm still just like annoyed that we had to go through it all of last year. It's like, dude, just break up with them. I mean, whatever.
But that's, it's
cheated on you.
It's part of it. So just saddle up, partner. Like you say to me, watch with a different perspective sometimes. This is part of it.
No, I say that to you. You don't say that to me.
You don't tell me what to do. Shut your goddamn mouth. You're talking to me. You shut your mouth when you're talking to me. But anyway, she's reading through all of these texts. And the biggest issue, one was obviously lying about the extent of what they did as far as fooling around goes. But the other thing that I think stings just as much is how nice he was being and how flattering and comforting. And he's taking her to the dinosaur museum and shit like that. The trampoline park. He never took TFP to the dinosaur museum.
Nope.
That's, so I think it's that he cared enough to like make the extra effort with her. Stings a lot. He said that he had not spent the night. It turns out he spent the night multiple nights. They never had sex, but they definitely did more than kissing, which I will say, because of the Mormon side of things, when they tiptoe around what they actually did, it's hard for me to like have a scale. I'm like, all right, well,
no idea.
Did you French kiss? Is that bigger than
they
this?
saw each other naked, maybe?
I don't know. Yeah, like what's the basis in the Mormon church? That's a good question. What's first base, second base, third base? Whoa.
Yeah.
Relax.
Pretty intimate. I know.
Yeah, relax. No one's touching feet around here.
There's kids listening to this. I don't want to,
Yeah.
in the back seat of somebody's
car. I know. You have children in the back seats of cars listening. That's not good.
Let's keep it whatever. Let's keep it G. Not even PG. Just G.
Just G. Just straight up G. But she starts putting the pieces together. She has her phone out. She's comparing dates. She's finding all these nights that he was hanging out with Jenna. Then she came over to her house and boinked her. It's all a very gross situation. And the big takeaway is Dakota's defense was, this chick won't leave me alone. She's obsessed. She won't stop texting me. She's initiating everything. She's instigating everything. It is not that way. It's actually the exact opposite. Dakota's the one that's borderline begging to hang out with this girl.
Yep.
So all of these things make Taylor feel like shit, obviously. So she's sobbing. And the meanest part is, I guess he had said to Jenna, I'm just hanging out with Taylor for clout. We're not dating. It's just to build my social media following. What a big piece of shit this guy is.
It's consistent with what we heard last year, too, because I think somebody had accused him of saying that and he denied it. But it comes right back and it's almost verbatim what we were told last year that he didn't say. So definitely checks out.
Yep. But then we get Miranda and Whitney, the two outcasts of the group. And, Miranda does confirm that Taylor ran MomTok originally, which was always like, was it Whitney? Was it Taylor? Taylor is the original queen of MomTok, which we all knew last year as well. But this is a duo that's probably going to be close only because where they stand with the rest of the group.
Yeah, and I think about the intentions of this meetup. I think it's definitely different. I think that they're brought together because they're both on the outs and
Yep.
they both want something. I think Whitney, even though she says within the first 10 minutes of the episode that she doesn't want to be the villain anymore, I think it makes sense for that perspective to have people like this on a different side. Maybe you get somebody to kind of flip. Maybe you get like one of the lower members, maybe a Layla or something, just like, whoop, I'll take you over here. And it could work if that's what Whitney's trying to do. Miranda, I think she's trying to get back in Taylor's good graces. And I don't think that and we're filming a show here, but I don't think that she can just show up anywhere like she did in the first part of the episode. So I think this makes a ton of sense for both sides. It's going to be mutually beneficial until one of them inevitably burns the other. So I think we're going to get like 5-6 episodes of the two of them together, being accused of being together and conniving, and then somebody's going to flip. And I don't know who it is, but I'm excited to find out.
I am too. And we have a weird relationship with factions. Depending on the show, we like factions. I think
there's so many people on this fucking show. There has
That's
to be
why.
factions.
And it could be a fun thing, you know,
Yeah.
like a spin-off of Mom Talk. Now you got Talk Mom versus
What?
Mom Talk.
You just
Talk
come
Mom?
up with that now?
I know, I'm really smart. Super duper clever. But Miranda's having a party, a happy hour, she's calling it, to
Mhm.
bring all of the Mom Talkers over in an attempt to rejoin Mom Talk, clear the air. And the biggest thing she wants to do is settle things with TFP because, again, the deeper part of that one is that they were besties before all this shit went down. So they lost a little bit more than just swinging. It was friends too. I struggle with that one. I don't know what word I wanted
blurring
to
the
say.
lines of friendship and swinging. You all know what happens.
Yeah,
You lose
yeah.
one.
Shooter and I almost weren't friends anymore.
Yep.
But let's get to the haunted house. And anything satanic is frowned upon in the church. Frowned
Sure.
upon. That's what they say always. It's always
Mhm.
frowned upon. We don't have any
Or
absolute
frowned
no's.
upon and gray areas.
Gray
Yeah.
areas and frowned upons. We don't
Mhm.
have a lot of like stern no's, which doesn't make sense because I feel like all of these should be stern no's. But
The haunted house?
if it's because
No.
Satan.
It's just fun. Come
I-
on.
I'm not part of the church. I agree with you. I don't think it should. I'm saying from a biblical standpoint or a
Scared of
Joseph
haunted
Smith
houses?
standpoint. I'm not. I love haunted houses. Love them. I
Great.
really want to take Poppy to Eastern State.
Would you rather do a haunted house or a haunted hayride?
Haunted hayrides aren't as fun, I don't think, because there's less of a
Just like it.
interaction. I mean, it's
Yeah.
nice. It's more of a vibe for sure.
Yeah.
But I do want to do one of those haunted houses where you have to like sign a waiver and like shit gets real.
Oh, and they like try to kill you?
Yeah, pretty much. Like they
Yeah.
do.
I don't think we have
up
any of
until
those around
that.
us.
I don't either, but I'd be down to do it. You know what else I want to do?
Yeah.
I want to go on one of those paranormal excursions with somebody, like in
Oh,
a
yeah,
haunted
for sure.
place. I think that'd be
For
a lot of fun.
sure.
I don't know
That'd
if
be
I'd
so
buy
much
into
fun.
it, but I think it'd be fun.
Oh, we should do ketamine beforehand.
It is godly.
Oh,
Out of
God.
the sun and the K-hole. But they're talking about Miranda's happy hour and they're questioning, she had 3 years to reach out and now she wants to. Like, I can't imagine why. They all know why. They even say they know why. She
Mhm.
wants that bag. She's clout chasing right now. And
Yeah.
obviously, like, who
But
would?
two of them were drinking in this scene. I
Yeah,
assume
two-
it
I
was
even wrote, two are boozing,
Jesse
two
and
aren't.
Demi.
Yeah, I
Okay.
believe.
I was trying to figure out
Jesse-
who was.
It was either Jesse or Demi with their husband last season when they were boozing in the hot
It was
tub. They got
Jesse.
kicked
Jesse
out of the
was
house.
boozing in the hot tub.
Yeah.
I guess it's Demi. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Just checking.
Yeah. Yep. So those two are boozing. The other two are not boozing, but they're talking about the party. They don't really want to go. And the fun thing about this crew is they're not afraid to just call things out, even with the
Mhm.
ones they're close with. Because Macy's like, well, yeah, Demi and Jesse were kissing Miranda's ass. And they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Nuh-uh. Like, I'm not going to be a bitch just to be a bitch. And I was like, nah.
Yeah, it could be warranted.
I don't know. But the bottom line is people just want the truth about the swinging scandal, to which I have to ask, why does it matter so much, the extent of what
I
they
don't
did?
think it matters anymore. I really don't. I don't think it matters. I think what it comes down to is I think there could be some of the women could be harboring a little bit of doubt when it comes to Taylor. And they could be thinking, what if she has been lying about this the whole time? What if
So
we
it's more
uncover
of
the
a
truth?
lie
It's
versus
more
truth
of a,
thing.
have you been lying to us the whole time?
Okay.
Or is Miranda just a straight up liar? Because I think they already have some sort of predisposed opinion of her. Obviously, her coming back to the show, season 2, trying to get back into Mom Talk. So of course, if they find out she's lying, it's pretty much over for her. They're never going to let her in. I'd never say never in shows like this. But if they find out that Taylor was lying or stretching the truth somewhere, and there's some proof somewhere, they're going to hear it out. That's what they're always going to do. There's no loyalty. There's very little loyalty to any of these women. They're not really that close. They're not really friends. They will burn bridges immediately.
Close. I think they're
too close.
But they are definitely very quick to jump ship.
Yeah.
They see the ship taking on water. They're like, see ya.
Yeah. It's sort of like how we do the podcast, honestly. We'll throw our weight behind somebody, and then if there's some evidence, whoop.
Yep, see ya. We're not on your team anymore.
See you later.
Idiot. But let's get to TFP and Leanne, her mom, and Ever. Leanne. I forgot about Leanne. I forgot about Taylor's family, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And wait till you see, I think it's episode 2 or 3. Oh my God, these people suck. But
yeah, her family's a nightmare.
Yeah, dude. And Leanne got the full reality TV makeover in the off season. She looks like a different person. That's all I'm going to say about that one. But Taylor called Dakota and called him out for everything. So now she's distancing herself from him. So she's going to talk to Leanne about everything, right? And she's checking in with her. And she's obviously going through it. She's like, I fell in love with somebody that doesn't exist. And I just want him to be honest, and I'm not going to settle, and all of that stuff. And we get some background. She talks about her biological father. We know he's not in the picture anymore. And she has trust issues because of that, because she met her dad once, and the dude was like, "Sup, kid?" and never heard from the guy again.
Yep.
But it's hard for me when she says stuff like, "Yeah, I never saw it coming with Dakota." I'm like, we all did, and we just met you last year. Like,
yeah, I mean, you did see it coming, because it's the first episode of last year you saw it coming. You started talking about it. So, yeah, no, I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
And then in real time, we get to see the hypocrisy of organized religion, which is always fun to watch, because she starts going into some nonsense about the family being the foundation of the LDS church, and you got to be rock solid with the... She just told us a story about her biological father saying, "Sup, kid, where's he? Where's this traditional family model that you are pushing onto her?"
And it also contradicts itself immediately, because she says, the church really instills in us that you need to wait for the right person, the person you're going to stay with. Every single person that's here, every single person in this group got married when they were like 20 or 21.
That's not waiting.
That's not waiting.
No, that's jumping into it and then having a whole flock of kids.
Yeah.
Like, it's so contradictory, and the mom contradicts herself in the same 5 minutes, and it gets much worse as the season goes on. I promise you that. But she's like, your generation is so quick to say, "See you later." I'm like, are you really fucking pushing for them to get back together? Like, what a bad mom. This guy is awful to your daughter. He treats her like shit. He cheats on her.
Yeah.
Why would you push that? Like, if it was my family, they'd be like, get the fuck out of there. Like, leave him in the dust. It makes no sense to me that they push this toxic shit because they want to pick and choose when they want to lean on the Bible. That's so dumb.
Like, this is the second guy, so you got to make this one work. There's no third chance.
I know, it's so dumb, bro.
She's like 26,
right. But we get to Jen and Zach at their ketamine therapy, and I just wrote, "Thanks, church," because again, we found a gray area with drugs, so that's fun. And Zach, like, what a line, by the way, what a sentence. Zach trying ketamine is an example of what he's willing to do for our relationship.
Yep.
The
followed by
time
the look
ever.
at us. Who knew that we'd be sitting here doing drugs together?
It's crazy, dude.
There's some self-awareness in there, and I don't think she realizes how funny and ironic it is.
She doesn't. She has no idea.
Yeah, and I wanted to give her credit for it. I'm like, that's a really funny line. Oh, you have no idea what you just said. Okay,
being dead serious. Yep,
yeah,
being 100% serious. But the big thing that they take away from this is obviously they still love each other. From what it seems like, at least when they were tripping balls, they both had nice memories of each other. And Jen really needs Zach to make peace with Jesse and Demi. And it's an important conversation. And again, Zach, good line. And I'm paying attention to everything. If they're important to you, then the conversation's important to me. I'm like, all right, leaving the door open. Just leaving the door open. And then we get a really funny scene, I thought, of Dakota packing up his shit just
Yeah.
because now he's crying. Now
With
he's
the puppy
upset.
dog face, yeah, the
Yeah.
entire time.
Now-
The old country music video where he's looking in the rearview mirror. Yeah.
Yep, leaving my
Unreal.
dog behind in my truck. You got my boxes and I roll
Just,
out of
yeah,
here.
I gotta do this. I'm really sad. I gotta move in with my friend for a little while.
Yep.
I just hope she takes me back and she realizes I love her.
I really love her, and
all I
I'm
want.
tired of fucking things up. And stop, dude. Like, because you have a kid now you're like, oh shit, this stuff affects people. It's like, yeah, what do you want us to watch this scene and go, oh, poor guy? It's like, no, you
man.
scumbag. Like, what'd you expect? You fucked around too much and you found out. I don't feel bad at all, but you can tell what it's setting up. And if they're doing a good job of it as the season goes, like I said, you'll see that. But I totally agree with you. There is a world in which it's like, all right, like, can we just move on from this garbage bag and like talk about other stuff? Because I don't need to see Dakota get painted in any kind of light of like, he's a changed man. He's trying to get
we're
back
gonna get
with
a
his wife
redemption
and
arc?
dog. Yeah, I don't need that. I really don't.
No.
But he's gonna fight. I'm gonna fight for her. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yep.
I'm gonna win my woman back. Let's get the happy hour at Miranda's. She's trying, right? She's trying. She puts out a nice charcuterie
A little
board.
too hard.
And I think that's what Michaela called out. She's like, look at this fucking stupid charcuterie board. It spells MomTok. Try less.
I'm gonna eat the M. I'm gonna eat the M right now.
But that's why I was like, okay, Michaela, like this isn't
Yeah.
really the Michaela we saw last year. This is like the second or third confessional in one episode where she's like, no
Yeah.
bullshit. She's like, I'm not
Give
fucking
me a
with this
fucking
anymore.
break.
Yeah, I'm trying to protect MomTok.
Mm-hmm.
And Whitney arrives in that moment. And her reason for that is because she likes building this friendship with Miranda. That's because it's your only friend. No one else likes you in the entire
The
town
only
of Provo.
way you can ride the coattails a little bit of Miranda trying, which is obviously very odd for Miranda to do this because she's trying to get into the good graces of everybody. Everybody hates Whitney.
Yep.
So taking Whitney under your wing to kind of like Trojan horse her back into MomTok is very weird. It's a very bad move.
It's a strange move. Yeah, because you're already going to have people like, oh, God.
Which is
used to
why
her there.
I'm waiting for the ultimate, like, they expect one of us in the Wreckage Brother, where Miranda gets in and then she kicks Whitney to the curb, like, oh, sorry, here's your sacrificial lamb. See you later.
Someone's going to flip on somebody at some point, unless we get the faction.
I don't know
of
enough
Cock
about
Mom.
Miranda, but I know enough about Whitney, and I hope it's
Miranda
Whitney that gets
seems nicer than Whitney for now.
Sure. They all
I don't
seem
know
nice
enough.
at first.
That's a good point. It's a really good point. But Jen arrives and the vibes are off, as she says, but she's cool with Miranda coming back, which is interesting. And she looks at Whitney. They're talking on the side. I thought this was shady. She actually wasn't being shady. She's like, I'm shocked that you still come to MomTok stuff. And then she starts going into a story or just about Vegas. She's like, I don't think I trust anybody after Vegas. Nobody supported me. I'm like, all right, well, time out. Let's go back to that night. Because once everything popped off, you blamed everybody else for what had happened. Because you and Zach went to breakfast the next day and talked out whatever you talked about and decided to place the blame on all of your friends. All of your friends who supported you through the evening.
Let's talk about how the trip started. It was supposed to be a girls' trip that your husband insisted on going on because he doesn't trust you, and you let him
gambling
go.
Problem.
Yes, and you let him and Dakota go. So bad move.
Yeah, not great. Not great. So
whose husband got caught in the crosshairs there? Was it Jesse's husband or
was it Brett?
Timmy's husband?
I think so. I'm not.
I think it was the older dude. It was Brett.
Yeah, Brett. It's Brett.
Yeah. And Zach's calling him and talking about it, and Dakota's talking.
Oh yeah,
to
he
him,
was
and
outside. Then Dakota gave him some rah speech. I'm like, this fucking guy. I forgot about that.
Brett's just sitting at home with the kids having a whiskey, watching football. Like, shut up.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care about this. I'm 50 years old. Who gives a shit? But it's important to take note of that and how she spins it and how she talks about it, because that's gonna play a lot this season. But TFP arrives and they start talking about certain things, and Mayci wants to know what the intention is about Whitney coming back, about Miranda coming back specifically. Like, what's your intention here? And she's like, I want to clear the air and I want to move forward. And then Michaela calls out the timing in front of everybody. Again, I was like, hell yeah, Michaela, let everybody know. And It ends with Miranda making the claim once more of we only smooched. Nothing else happened. It was simply a smooch, and I'm going to maintain that and take it to my grave. And then the episode ends with a cliffhanger there.
It's hard to
Not really a cliffhanger because you can just binge the rest of the season, but whatever.
Yeah. And obviously, they give you the whole rundown of the trailer, and it does look like Miranda's ex-husband comes into the picture at some point in the season, probably a little bit later.
Oh yeah, episode 2 or 3 actually.
Chase. So
wait till you meet Chase. He's such a dildo.
If it were just Miranda and TFP talking about all of this,
I got you. Say TFP.
We're never going to find out what actually happened. One of the husbands is going to have to spill the beans. We'll have to see if they stick by their wives or not, or girlfriends or not, or whatever. Maybe it's going to have to be Taylor's ex that comes out of the weeds. That would be great. Would love that. Maybe like a Taylor's ex versus Dakota. That would be fun.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
I don't know anything.
That would be interesting. It's not that.
Didn't he go to jail? Wasn't he
He was a bad dude from what I remember.
Yeah.
But it's not that. That I know.
Well, we'll see.
Because it comes up soon, and it's
okay. Good.
It's good. It's really good. It's good stuff. Do we have any questions?
I didn't put questions up now.
Right,
not
cool.
for because you can't do it with this show.
Yeah, no, I agree. Because then they ask stuff from like episode 9.
Episode 7. What did you think?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm stoked for the season. It was a great premiere. Like really, really good premiere. I've already watched episodes 2 and 3. I can tell you those 3 are great. These first 3 episodes, phenomenal. Dev watched the whole season. She has been talking about it all week, all weekend. So I'm stoked to get through this. We are going to cover the whole thing. We're also going to finish Villa along the way. We're just going to fill that in where we can. So don't worry, we haven't dropped that.
I watched all of Villa and the reunion. It was great.
Yeah, it's outstanding. So we're going to finish doing that, whether we get a lot of people listen or not. We're going to follow through with that because we want to.
Yeah. Plus, with Villa, it looks like there is a season 3, and they're going to go somewhere else. So
they need to just keep doing it.
I am going to spam lisa.vanderpump@sir.com and hope that she listens to me. Drop it week by week. Enough of this. Can't do it.
We need to get on Hulu. Let's start spamming Hulu. Mr. Hulu. We've talked about this before. This is not the first time we're referencing you, Dr. Hulu.
Yep.
It's time. That's our new platform until next season. We got a year.
Ideas and suggestions at hulu.com.
Yep. We've got a year. We've got a year to spam them, get them to change how they drop these shows. But buckle up, Mom Talk. Will it survive? Keep tuning in to find out. You got anything else?
Nope.
Well, that's our show. Bro's got to go.